NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson. Tracy Dyson was selected as a NASA astronaut in 1998 and is preparing to launch to the International Space Station as part of Expedition 70 and 71. Tracy Dyson was selected as a NASA astronaut in 1998 and is preparing to launch to the International Space Station as part of Expedition 70 and 71. Dr. Caldwell Dyson has designed, constructed, and implemented electronics and hardware associated with the study of atmospheric gas phase chemistry and has developed and
because those were the stores that we were remodeling back in Southern California. That was such a critical part of my whole life. I mean, I can't tell you how meaningful it was to get paid with donuts. I mean, I had 7 on a table, and it was like, I didn't even know which one to eat first. As I started to go work for my father more and more, I got older and older. Donuts weren't quite cutting it. Plus, I was, an athlete and realizing that diet was a little bit more important to me. So the donuts turned into dough, and though I was the last to get paid, which I didn't mind, Dad started to give me a little bit more of a...
Presented numerous papers on methods. In 1999, she was first assigned to the Astronaut Office International Space Station Operations Branch as a Russian crusader, participating in the testing and integration of Russian hardware and software products developed for the International Space Station, ISS.
I was one of his most reliable employees, and so
in 2007, Caldwell Dyson flew aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour on STS-118, where she served as a mission specialist. In 2010, she served as flight engineer for Expedition 2324. She has logged more than 188 days in space, including over 22 hours in 3 spacewalks. Dr. Caldwell Dyson has designed, constructed, and implemented electronics and hardware associated with the study of atmospheric gas phase chemistry, and has developed and presented numerous papers on methods of chemical ionization. The spectral interpretation of trace compounds. Dr. Caldwell Dyson has designed, constructed, and implemented electronics and hardware associated with the study of atmospheric gas phase chemistry, and has developed and presented numerous papers on methods of chemical ionization for the spectral interpretation of trace compounds. October 28, 2009. Astronaut Tracy Caldwell, Expedition 2324 flight engineer, gets help in the donning of a training version of her extravehicular mobility unit (EMU) spacesuit in preparation for a spacewalk training session in the waters of the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory (NBL) near NASA's Johnson Space Center. 11 September 2010. NASA astronaut Tracy Caldwell Dyson, Expedition 24 flight engineer, looks through a window in the cupola of the International Space Station. A blue and white part of Earth and the blackness of space are visible through the windows. The image was a self-portrait using natural light. NASA astronaut Tracy Caldwell Dyson pauses for a portrait while donning her spacesuit and going underwater in the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, Monday, July 8, 2019 at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Credit: NASA/Bill Ingalls, April 7, 2010. For women on the International Space Station pose for a photo in the Zvezda service module, while Space Shuttle Discovery remains docked with the station. From the left are NASA astronaut Dorothy Metcalf-Lindenberger and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency JAXA astronaut Naoko Yamazaki, both STS-131 mission specialists, along with NASA astronauts Tracy Caldwell Dyson, Expedition 23 flight engineer, and Stephanie Wilson, STS-131 mission specialist. NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson pauses for a portrait while donning her spacesuit and going underwater in the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, Monday, July 8, 2019 at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Credit: NASA/Bill Ingalls.
That I didn't create, somebody else did, and I get shocked. So I got my quarter-inch driver, because it's got a yellow dot. I got my noodle nose, it's super important. And then I got my channel locks. And then I got my awl. I really need that because combination with my hammer, that's how I make holes in the wall. Love this stuff. Then I got my clines, or on the job they're known as the linemans, because you can pull wire with them, and you can twist wire with them, cut wire with them, but we call them clines because it was the first cline tool that I ever had. No electrician is caught without their wire strippers. You've got size wires. When I was a little girl learning how to do this, I had just one side and I had to make it work. And then I got older and a little bit more savvy, and so I graduated to this one. So I love it. Oh, super important. This is not called a level. This is called a torpedo. All right. This is my oldest tool, and it's maybe to you called a voltmeter, but to an electrician, a sparky they call it, it's called the wiggy. Once you apply the ends to live wires, it acts wiggy. So I also have electrical tape. Walls are made out of aluminum studs. We got our tin snips here, and then I got my keyholes. That's about it. This tool belt, every time I pull it out, and I use it either when I'm working at the house, or I'm working at the church, or I'm working on somebody else's house who's fixing a problem that they have. I think
August 7, 2010, attired in her extravehicular mobility unit, EMU, spacesuit, NASA astronaut Tracy Dyson, Expedition 24 flight engineer, prepares to exit the Quest airlock of the International Space Station to begin the first of 3 planned spacewalks to remove and replace an ammonia pump module that failed July.